If you've been using Claude like a smarter chat box, you're in good company. That's where almost everybody starts. But here's the thing nobody tells you when you sign up. Chat is the front door. It is not the building.
The next 12 minutes. I'm going to walk you through every layer behind that chat box, and by the end, Claude will stop feeling like a search engine and start feeling like a teammate.
Welcome to the channel. I'm the efficient avatar of Joseph Ranos, and it's my job to explain things in a way so that you can understand AI. So let's get into it.
First question. Almost everybody asks me, free, pro, or max, what's the move? Quick orientation. Free. Gets you Sonnet 4.6, about 9 messages every 5 hours, 5 projects, and yes, you can hook up custom connectors. So if you're testing the waters, free is real. Pro is $20 a month. You get roughly 5 times the capacity access to Opus, 4.7 the full connectors directory, plus Cowork and Skills. That's what I use. There's a link in the description. You can get Cowork free for a week if you follow that link. Max comes in 2 tiers, $100 and $200, and that's just more capacity. No new features unlock at Max. My recommendation, try Pro and manage your 5-hour sessions.
So the honest answer is, if you're a hobbyist, free is fine. The minute you want Claude to actually run work for you, Pro is the line you cross. Now let's talk about chat done right. Even if you never leave the chat box, 3 things change everything.
Pick the right model. Sonnet for daily work. Opus when you need deeper reasoning, longer context, or you're attacking something that's been stumping you. Haiku for speed and bulk. Most people leave it on the default and wonder why their answers feel flat. Switch the model. 2. Set your profile and custom instructions. This lives in your settings. It's a short paragraph that tells Claude who you are, what you do, and how you want it to talk to you. Mine says I'm a content creator with some coding skills. Research first, then advise. Challenge my reasoning and be concise. That paragraph runs in front of every single chat. Free feature, most people skip it. 3. Use artifacts. When you ask for code, a document, or a chart, Claude builds it in a side panel you can edit, download, and reuse. Stop copy-pasting out of the chat window. Open the artifact, work with it there.
Okay, that's chat. Now we leave the front door. Next layer up is the Markdown instructions pattern. This is the single biggest unlock for most people, and almost nobody is teaching it.
Claude reads Markdown like a native language. So instead of typing the same setup message every time you start a chat, you write a small Markdown document, 200 to 500 words, that describes your role, your tone, your common tasks, and your rules. Then you paste it into your profile or into a project or save it as a runbook file. Claude follows it like a contract. Pause and take note of my token efficiency instructions as well. And it allows me to do all of this with a pro account. I run my entire content pipeline this way. I have a research runbook, a production runbook, and a session brief. When I open a chat, Claude already knows the rules. No re-explaining. That's the move. And it saves me hours every video. Which brings us to projects. A project is a workspace inside Claude. You give it a knowledge base. Drop in markdowns, docs, transcripts, whatever Claude needs to be smart about. And you give it a set of project instructions, which is that same markdown pattern we just talked about. Now, every chat you start inside that project starts with full context. Free tier gets you 5 projects. Pro removes the cap. That's the optimization move that changes everything from now on. I keep 1 project per active video, 1 for brand voice, 1 for client work. Each one has its own brain. No mixing. Now we plug Claude into the rest of your tools. Connectors, they've recently moved them over to the left panel under Customize. As of this spring, the directory is over 200 integrations. Google Drive, Notion, Gmail, Calendar, Slack, GitHub, the obvious ones. But late April, Anthropic shipped 9 new creative tool connectors in one drop. Adobe Blender, Figma, Canva, Splice, Resolume, SketchUp, Autodesk Fusion, and Ableton. They just keep getting better.
So if you're a designer, a 3D artist, a music producer, an architect, you can now talk to Claude and have it pull or push work into the tool you actually use.
Turn them on per chat. Claude only touches what you pointed at. I have Notion, and I have an entry that tracks all my subscriptions and dates they expire. Then Claude looks at Notion and updates my calendars.
Now we hit the layer almost no other walkthrough video covers. Skills.
A skill is a folder with a file called SKILL.md in it. The file has a tiny header that names the skill and describes what it does in under 200 characters. Below that header is a Markdown body. Instructions, examples, formatting rules, whatever specialized knowledge that skill needs. When the skill matches what you're asking, Claude loads it automatically. That's the trick. You don't call it. It calls itself. That's a huge time saver. I have a brand voice skill that fires anytime I'm writing public content. I have a research skill that fires when I drop a topic. Each one is just a Markdown file. That's the whole architecture. And once you have a few skills, you get the Orchestrator pattern. This is where it gets interesting. An Orchestrator is one routing skill that knows when to call the other skills, in what order, and how to hand off work between them. So a single request. Let's start a new video on topic X that triggers research, then scripting, then short form packaging, then asset prompts, then a metadata pack, all in one go. You stop running steps, you start running pipelines.
That's the conceptual leap from chatbot to teammate. You're not asking questions anymore, you're describing outcomes, and Claude is wiring up the workflow. Which brings us to the moment that changed how I work. Cowork.
Cowork is a desktop app from Anthropic, and it runs Claude on your actual computer with access to a folder you choose. Inside that folder, Claude can read, write, and edit files for real, not in a sandbox, on your machine. Now watch this. This is sped up from 15 minutes 34 seconds and is the entire production run with a pro account only. I open Cowork, point it at the folder, and I type one line. Hear that again. I sent it one short sentence. The production runbook on the Claude walkthrough part 1 folder. Go. That's it. That's the whole prompt. Because once this is set up, it's set up until you change it. Claude reads my session, brief finds the project, opens my approved research, fires the production runbook skill, writes the clean script, the director's script, the voiceover cue script, the shorts map, the shorts package for 5 platforms, the asset prompts, the metadata package, and the DaVinci Resolve Edit Guide. This is probably the most important part of this entire video tutorial. Once you build the system is automatic. You don't need multiple accounts, you don't need multiple chats, multiple scripts, all you need is an idea. And honestly, that is what helps make this channel different than others. We're giving you real tools, real skills. So here is my ask, and I don't do this very often. If this has helped you gain at least one idea from this video, now is when to hit that subscribe button. Now is when to drop the comment. Now is when to hit the like. We need to grow so I can do more. Here are 9 deliverables. 1 prompt, files land in the folder. I close my laptop and go take Liberty, the best doggo ever for a walk. It took Claude a little over 15 minutes to do this entire run. Let that sink in.
That is the leap. Chat is one question, one answer. Cowork is one instruction, a finished package. Same Claude, different posture. Quick honest note before we close out. Cowork requires Pro or Max. It's still labeled Research Preview. It's not perfect. Long jobs occasionally lose state, and you have to nudge it back on track. But it works. I run my entire content operation through it.
The leap from chatbot to teammate is built on 4 ideas. Write your instructions in Markdown. Scope your work into projects. Plug into your tools with connectors, and let skills compose into orchestrated workflows. That's the whole stack. That's part 1.
Part 2 is the next leap. Dispatch. I'm running Claude from my phone in the full computer use mode. This is exactly where Claude takes over the cursor and runs apps directly. We'll get there. If this opened up Claude for you, the project instructions starter pack is linked below. It's the Markdown template I paste into every new project. Free. Thanks for watching. I'm Joseph with AI Bootcamp Studio. See you in part 2.
Make sure you check back for part 2. Hit that subscribe button while you're here, and thanks for watching.